All right, so let me ask you, in some of these logistics functions, first of all, how does somebody get started with you if they're a small business owner out there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so typically we'll start off either go straight into a retainer, and what we'll do is we'll right size a retainer. We'll talk to them, figure out kind of what are the key issues, how big is the company, what are the growth expectations, and really just got a sense for what's the right level of engagement in order to solve the problems or address the issues that they want to solve or get ahead of. I'm really impressed with the number of leaders that I'm coming across that are like, I don't have huge problems, but I want to be sure I'm staying ahead of them. So that to me is awesome, and it's like exactly the sort of people we love to work with, because that really keeps us in the zone of thinking strategically, which is awesome. Sometimes these business leaders aren't quite sure, like there's things that they know they don't know, but then there's the unknown unknowns. In those cases, sometimes we will do what we call a full HR practices immersion or people immersion, and we'll take a look at all their documentation, policies, look at their practices. How do you do recruiting? How do you onboard? Like maybe you don't, that's fine. Also talk to some different people in different roles across the business. Usually like to bring in, one of my behavior scientists to help with that, because they have really great experience sorting out some of this stuff that's sort of hard to measure and hard to pin down. That's their expertise. And then we put together a report and say, here's all the things that we found that might be worth looking at over the course of time. Which of these looks like and feels like it's the most important to you? And then from there, we'll usually then transition into an engagement that is what I call an hours-based retainer. So we'll put them on a retainer. It feels like a really good, stable place to be. They have that predictability, but then we also have a cap and then an hourly rate on top of that. And so if there's something that comes up, it's like, oh, wow, we didn't expect this to happen. We really need you to spend a little bit more time this month. We're completely flexible to do that. And so the flexibility is really baked into that. So we're big on co-authoring our priorities. We use, for those that are familiar with EOS, we use a very operationally anchored check-in that's either weekly or bi-weekly. And through that, we discuss issues and we try to stay ahead of issues. And then that's how we manage and co-author our priorities and reconfigure what's top billing in terms of how we spend our time. And that seems to be effective.
Excellent. So you're putting together a standard operating procedure that a business owner has as far as being able to manage HR that pertains specifically to that type of business, though.
Yes, everything's customized to the culture and to the organization. There's a lot of stuff that we know that we see patterns that recur in different situations. And then again, so we believe that HR's role isn't to be in the middle of everything. HR's role is to help managers do HR as well as possible, because they're the ones that are on the ground. They're accountable for the results of their teams. It's not HR. So we're just there to make it easy for them to do it as effective as possible, and that's what we orient ourselves around.